Hi there, Jamie Keat here tonight at Teachers Tech. Hope you're having a great night tonight. Tonight I'm going to go over Google Sheets. So this tutorial is going to be a comprehensive guide for Google Sheets, starting from just starting it to applying formatting, to functions and formulas, to graphing, and so much more. Take a look at the description below at all the different things that are included in this, and I'll timestamp it so you can quickly go to each part. So if you leave the video, you can come back at a different time to different parts. If you see anything down below that you'd like added in a different tutorial, please just write a comment down below so I can start on some smaller videos this one about Google Sheets after this. So let's get started on this tutorial of Google Sheets tonight. So you do need to be logged in to your Google account. I'm already in my Google Drive here. My favorite way to start any Google apps is to be from Google Drive. And so in this case with Google Sheets, I have a folder I already created here, and I'm just going to go inside of this. If I knew how I wanted my files sorted, I would go to that folder and I would right click and I can start a Google Sheets from here. I can also go up to the new and start Google Sheets. So it's just a simple way I like to keep things organized in this. You can also go up to Google Sheets up here. When you start it, when you go up to this way to your app launcher, if you just start it, it will just put it into your general Google Docs. This step, what I'm showing you over here, is just to skip a step so things are just a little bit more organized. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it from here. And you can see I'm in my Google Sheets now. Just a little walkthrough. You can see right up here, this is where my menu is here. Up here is where you're going to title it. So if I was going to put classroom, let's say classroom marks on this one, I could just simply click off of it, and that's what this is going to be. This is going to be saved as that. If I go back, you can see right away it's already in my Google Drive. At any point too, you can click on the Sheets home, and this will give you kind of a quick view of the different sheets. This is the one I just created right here. You can also kind of navigate your way through different things. I can go back to my drive this way or go over to some other Google apps on this one. I'm just going to go back and open up the one I just created. So a little bit of a walk around here before I get started with some basic formatting. You can see that we have our rows and our columns. We have our menu bar up top where I'll be talking about a bunch of different things. The other thing is that we can create different sheets down below. So you can see I'm on sheet 1 right here. If I ever want a new sheet, I can create a new sheet right within it. And these can be dragged around. So I could put them in different orders, order them. So this is saved within the same file. I could create all these different sheets within this. Or else if you wanted to create a new sheet, if you go up here and if I go File, New Spreadsheet, notice a new tab. So this is a completely new tab that's open. And if I go back to this one, you can see I have my 2 sheets at the bottom within this one file. But if I go over to here, this is a brand new one that I can create my different sheets at the bottom. So that's just kind of your basic walk around. What I'm going to do first is start with some basic editing or basic formatting of Google Sheets. So let's talk about some basic entering of information into a spreadsheet. So I just started working on the class roster a little bit, and I'm just going to enter in a couple more here. So I just want to have a couple more names to enter in, and then I'll do a little formatting with this too. So if I go ahead and click in a cell, so let's say A4, I can enter in information. So let's say if I had a name, let's say the person's name was Bev Taylor. And I can just click out of it, or I can use the arrows and go to the next one, or hit tab and it will continue on. If I use the arrows, I can move all around or click into the spot I want. So let's add our email address. So I'm just going to make up an email address for her. I'll just say Taylor, and let's say if it was at the school.com, and I will add just one more here. We'll just call it Smith. And Joe, and we'll go joe.smith@school.com. All right, so we have some basic information, just some text that we've entered in. So right away I can see, and I've talked about this, notice that the emails are kind of too large for the space. So I did show you text wrapping before, but I don't really want to wrap this. I can go up top and grab, so when I get those arrows right here, then I'm going to hold down on my mouse and I'm just going to stretch it open a little wider, and then to make it so everything fits in here. So it's a quick way just to make everything look a little bit neater. If you're ever trying to move things quickly, if you know you needed, let's say, a certain person to put somewhere else, if you're starting on, I could go and select, so I've selected them. I can right click and copy. And let's say if I wanted this email over here, I could right click and paste, and notice it just put it across in the three different cells that were there. This hasn't been formatted, this one, so I can change it that way. If you don't want it, you can just simply highlight it and you can hit delete and it's gone. Remember, you do have your back undo, so you can also go that way too if you wanted to just go back a step on it. So let's look at some other formatting that we can do with this. So if I wanted to add some color, different ones, or change the text on it or the font, let's say if I wanted the top changed a bit, I could highlight all three. So I could do one at a time, and maybe I want them bold, or I could highlight multiple ones to make it a little faster and hit it bold. You notice I have my italic here if I wanted it. I have strike through, and I also have text color. So maybe I just didn't wanted to have black. I could quickly pick a different color for different ones. Again, I could go back. Once I selected the color, I can just select on it here. Let's go orange now. So then I have orange on those ones. You also have, if I go to the other side right here, the fill color. So the fill color is the background of the cell. So maybe across the top, I want the color different there. So maybe I'll go with a little bit of a gray, and notice now I look at it and I might not like the orange on it. Maybe I'll go back to a black to have it stand a little bit better out on it. So I can change the background, I can change the color of each individual cell very, very quickly by using the fill color. Now this one over here, if you want to add borders, because right now if you print this, so at any time, so if I go through and if I was going to print this, and I won't print it right now, but it wouldn't have any borders around this. It would just be blank. With the text would be in here. But if I wanted borders, the color would come out. If I wanted borders, you can see the option here. If I click that little arrow to the side, I can look through and say, well, do I want it just on the inside? Do I want a middle one? I can pick maybe just around the whole one. Or if I pick this one, it will give me borders on all of them. You can format your borders a little bit too. So if you notice you have a border color, I could pick a different one. And sometimes maybe it's not thick enough and you want it just thicker. You could go through and make it a bit thicker on it. So I've talked about merging cells before, and I showed you under format. You can quickly merge the cells right here too. So just so you know, all these things right here, if I go under up top, you can see as I go through under format, I have all the different things that I have the shortcuts to right through here. So this is just some basic formatting just to put some text in and to make it look, to adjust it, to make it look better on how you wanted it, how you want to present it. So let's talk about a little bit more for formatting, and I just want to take a look at these here. So we do have some alignment depending on what you want in your cell. So there's the horizontal alignment of a cell, whether you want it to be left, center, or right. We also have our vertical alignment here too. I've already talked about text wrapping and how you want your text in each cell. Now this is, if you get some really long headings, you might want to rotate your text. So for instance, I can highlight everything here and it will apply this on all of them. So you can look at the different rotations of it and you can see how it kind of just tilted everything like this. It didn't tilt it over here, but it did put the spaces in here automatically. And going back before, I showed you how to stretch out the cells this way. You can, on your rows over here, you can do the same thing if you needed to stretch them out longer on that side too. I'm just going to hit undo on that last one. Another type of formatting you can do is quickly add dollar amounts. So let's say these are some fundraising amounts that that these students did, and I just want to put it in dollar amount. So I can quickly put on the formats as currency, and you can see it's quickly put into there. So now let's go on to do some using some quick formulas and functions here. Formulas and functions is what makes a spreadsheet so good. And what I want to show you first is just to use a formula here with using the equal sign. So these are very simple formulas that I want to be using, but I just want you to get the idea of how they work. So in this case right here, let's say I wanted a total column on the bottom of each one, and I want to know the total of each fundraising one here too. So I'm just going to quickly enter in a little bit more money for this last person. I noticed I forgot it, and I'll just put some random numbers here. And remember, I can format them very quickly too. So at the very bottom here, I want to add up these four different ones here. So a way I could do a formula is always start with an equal sign. Once I do that, I can click on the cell, and so you can see it's selected. I can just use my operation sign, plus, click on the next one, plus, click on the next one, plus, and then click on the last one, and I can hit enter. And I quickly have it added up pretty quickly. Seems to work very, very smooth. But you can do that even faster through formulas, or not formulas, but functions on it. So look at this one. So if I move over to the next column, and if I go up to my sum function, if I just click on it, I just have to highlight what I want, and now I have a quick sum. Now the nice thing about these is that, remember, if these numbers change, if all of a sudden maybe I was gathering money from a fundraising, and all of a sudden I found out, oh, this number wasn't right here, and this number should have been, let's say it should have been 75. Everything is connected, right? So if I just change one number, so you can imagine as you get these really big sheets, or you have lots of marks on it, you can just alter one number, and it's going to change your average correctly. For if you have it set up, it will just make the adjustments for you on this one. So I'm going to show you a different way to do even quicker here. So I'm just going to delete these two places. So I'm just going to hit delete. So now if I use just like what I showed you before, was the sum. So I'm going to quickly just sum, highlight it all, hit enter, and now I'm going to go, rather than do each column, I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to grab this little blue square here at the bottom, and I'm just going to drag it this way. Notice it just copied that formula across, and it knew that it just kept everything in columns adding up that way. So now that's even quicker doing it that way, is dragging it across. So I can go up to here if I wanted, let's say now, if I wanted to find the total of each individual student, what I can do is I can go up to my sum again, highlight it all, hit enter. Oh, and notice that's under the wrong formatting right now. It should be under dollar, and I can drag down. So I have two different sums. I have my sums for each one, and then I have my sums for each total too. Let's say now if I was interested in a average for, let me type in average here, for each student, if I clicked in here and I go up to here, now I go to average. Now I can select the 3 here, and I want to know what their average fundraising. It shows me really quickly. So again, I can drag this straight down, and it's going to work for each student. Because if I click on each of these after, it will tell me, if I look up into the formula up here, you can see that it's averaging F4 to H4. So from F4 to H4. It's not putting in the total because I didn't select that as part of the first one. So it knows as I copy it down, it's going to stay in those columns how I have everything set up. So that's a quick way to do some averages on money using your sum and your average functions on those. So let's say I'm making a Google Sheet for my classroom marks here, and I already entered in here some, but realized, oh, that I wanted a column somewhere else and a row somewhere else. I can still format these. So let's say if I wanted to write grade right here in between B or C. If I right click onto the column, notice that I have some insert features. So I can insert one to the left. So now I've inserted this and I can give this a heading, and I'm just going to call this grade here. And maybe I want to put one more above it. I want to put the average on top of each one in the name of the exam. I can right click here and I can insert one above. So now if this was going to be exam, I'll just say exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3 here. So I've entered in those, and now what I want to do is do some averages on these ones. So let's say I want to put the average right on top of these. And remember what I showed you before, you can highlight, so you can click in your cell first, you can go to average, pick your column, the ones that you want. You can see there's an 86.5 average here. You can always go, notice that you can increase or decrease the decimals here. So if it rounded it up to 87, or if I showed the decimal to one place or to two spots, you have some options here on how you want to format each of these two. I'm not going to change this on this one, but you can see how I can have currency or financial or accounting, just different ways I can format it. So I'm just going to leave it to, 1. And so now I can drag it this way, and then I can have my averages all the way across here. So if I wanted to have a grade, and again, if I just wanted to be based if they were all the same, I could hit the averages. So if I just go to my average again, go to average and go right across and hit enter, and you can see that there's an average there, drag it down, and I have it there too. So then I can click on this one. I can go back in my decimals to say I want it to there. So I can grab all these at once. If I wanted to change the format here, if I wanted to increase the decimals to see if they're see where they're rounding off at, I can do that too. So that's just a little bit more about using some of the formatting features that are quick to use to get those averages for you, especially in a grade book. So notice I didn't put this in alphabetical order at all. And I mentioned before when I was going over in the vocabulary how easy that was to do. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to sort this in alphabetical order, but it's going to actually mess up the way I have it set up here, but I'm going to fix it. So if I just click on, if I want, let's say by last name here, if I go up to data, if I click on, you notice what happened? It put the last name, mixed it all up, kind of put it is in alphabetical order, but it also put the last name as a name in there. So I'm just going to undo that. So what I'm going to do is actually freeze some things here. So I'm going to go up to my view, and I'm going to freeze the first two rows right under name, and all this stuff is frozen. And I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to freeze the first two columns because that's going to where my names are now. Now, if I go to here, and everything through here is going to get rearranged too. If I go up to my data now and sort sheet through A to Z, notice everything is in, and this all changed around. So if I go back, you can see how all the numbers changed. And now if I go forward, everything is clean in order and everything, just when I froze those two rows. So it's a handy feature when you're setting up your Google Sheets for something like this. Think about freezing certain rows and it'll make it a little bit easier for you. So just a few other functions I want to show you that might come in handy here that could save you some time. And that is firstly the unique one. So with unique, what it does is it can look for duplicates or something. So I've written over here some extra names on the column, and there's some duplicates in there. So the list looks like there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe you have a long list of something and you want to know if there's any duplicates in anything. So let's say I want the list over here. You always start it with an equal, then I'm going to start typing in my name, and I can see there's unique right there. And so what I wanted to do is I'm just going to highlight this area here and I'm going to just close it and hit enter. And so it showed me that these are the unique ones. So these are the ones that over here you can see that the list is a little longer, but this is the unique one here. So that's a handy feature. If you have a long list and you want to know if there's any duplicates in it, check out that one. So a quick one to use is the count feature. Really easy to use. It's right under the, it's one of the main ones here. You can see count. But remember, at any time, if you hit the equal and you start typing in the word, it will come up too. So what the count does, if you want to see how many exams in total or how many of something there is, just highlight the area and simply hit enter, and it will count things up for you very, very quickly. So maybe you have this giant list and you just want to know the numbers of how many of something are on it. Try the count function. The if statement is great to analyze data quickly and then output an answer or an output information you want to give on your spreadsheet. So I'm going to go ahead and use it for grades. And so what I want to have happen here is if the mark is above 80, then I want it to say, I'll give it maybe an E. And then if it's below 80, I just wanted to say keep trying. So what I'm going to do is in this cell right here, I'm going to start with my equal sign and I'm going to say if, and the if comes up. So the first part I have to, what do I want to have happen here? So I want to say if this cell is greater than or equal to 80, then I'm going to give it a comma. Then I need to say, to say something. So I want it to say E, and I close. So that's in quotation marks or else. So this is the other part of it. So or else. So another comma, and I have to do the quotation marks. I'll say keep trying. Exclamation mark, and I have to close my up here and close my parentheses on this. So if I look at it, it will say if whatever's in C3 is greater than or equal to 80, then write E. If not, say keep trying. So let's give this a try. I'm going to hit enter. You can see, so this one said keep trying. You can see the mark is below an 80, so it's saying keep trying. I can copy this down real quickly, and these ones all received an E. So the if statement is great because you can ask it a question and then give it, tell it to put out information in a certain cell, and it can analyze all this stuff very, very quickly and give you results that you want. Charts are a great way to analyze your data very quickly, and they look great. So I'm going to just go up to insert up here, and I'm going to go to insert and insert a chart. So this is the new charts in Google Sheets. I can still switch the old editor down below here, but I'm going to use this one. I'm going to, right now it's blank because I have to put some data in here. So I'm going to start with a series, and I'm going to select this exam 3. So I'm just going to select this, these 4 tests right here, and I'm going to hit OK. So you can see right away, they're in order because I had them put in order before. But so now I can add another series. So let's say we'll have this one in here too. And then add another series. I can go to this one. So I have the 4. Now I want the x-axis in there. So I'm going to go to here and put the names. I'll just put the first names in. And then that's down below. So there's different things I can do once I have it set up to customize it more too. You can see I can select a different type of charts. I mean, I could change the angle on these ones, but if I go back down, you can play with which ones work the best for you. So certain ones won't work at all on it, but let's try the lines. You can see the lines. But I'm going to go back to my normal column one because it's the best one I think that would work for this one. Now, notice that there's customize over here too. So we have our chart style, what you can go through and color. You know, you can change your colors if you want. 3D it. I find that looks a little bit better. I have my fonts. I can maximize it. We have our chart titles. So I'll just put marks on here. And as you can see how it comes up, and I can change some things on just some more customization of it. I'm not going to go through and do everything to it. I'll point out just so as you go through down, you have your series where you can apply different things to it. You have your legend. your horizontal axis and your vertical. So if you needed to name different ones of these, and you have your grid lines if you wanted those on. So you can go through and customize your charts on this, but in seconds you can take all the information you have, create a very attractive chart for it. So you might want to take your charts out of Google Sheets and put them into a presentation or put them into a document that you're creating. Just go up. When I click on it, see these three little dots? I have some options here. I could delete this chart here. I could save the image. I could publish the chart. I could copy the chart. And that's what I'm looking at right now. So I want to copy this chart. I've opened up Google Sheets over here, and I'm just going to paste it over here. So I'm just going to right click and paste. Notice it asked me to link it, and I'm going to show you, I am going to link it, and I'm going to show you what it does for me here. So paste. So let's say I've got this chart, I've collected the information, I'm giving a presentation on something, and something changes over here. So let's say instead of this 90, I'm going to give this a 100 here. And as I hit enter, notice this one just jumped. Now, if I go back over to my presentation, all I have to do is update because it's linked. So it makes it, all I have to do is change it in the spreadsheet, update it. I don't have to copy paste again, and it's just going to update it. I can copy paste, so I've already copied it, but I can also paste, same thing, paste. This one should already be updated, but you have the, I'll click, oh, there it goes, and it updates now. But you have the same thing that happens in Google Docs. So you can take your sheets out of, take your charts out of Google Sheets, copy them into slides or copy them into docs and link them so that just the one change over here, then you can quickly update all your information in other places. So remember, just like anything from Google Docs or Google Slides, you can share this, or just like any of the other apps, you can go up and share this. You can add collaborators if you wanted to work with maybe another teacher or whomever you'd like. You can add the people quickly through here and give them their permission so they can add to the spreadsheet. Remember, you have the advanced tool here that you can get a little bit more information to and make a few more adjustments. I'm not going to share this one right now, so I'm just going to hit done. What I want to show you about is about publishing to the web. You can turn this whole thing into a web page very easily. Just go up to File and Publish to the web right up here. And if I click it, you notice I have some options here. I can go to link, or I can go to embed. I'm going to go to link here, and I could pick a certain sheet if I want. I'm going to say the entire document, and I'm going to say web page. I have, again, some choices what I could pick, a PDF, but a web page is going to work best for me. Here are my published content settings here. You can see what I've already chosen here. I don't want to require viewers to sign in. So I'm going to hit publish here. I'm going to hit OK. And so what it's telling me to do here is to copy this here. So I can take this whole thing here. Actually, I'm just going to right click and it's going to say go to here. So I'm just going to hit go to here. And it brings me right to it. So the one thing is the form responses. This was from something I had, it was blank. So, but notice if I click on sheet 1, here it is. So I have this URL that I could share with people. So if you wanted to put out information, you could publish it as a web page on it, and then people could view the information that you wanted to share with them that way too. Let's say I'm going to share this Google Sheet with somebody, but I want to give them some access, but not access to everything where they can change all the numbers. You can lock down certain parts or protect certain parts of your Google Sheet. So let's say this part right up here, these grays, I don't want anybody messing around. I just want them locked, whoever I share this document with. If I go up to my data up here, notice I have protected sheets and ranges. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And the range I selected is already in here. You can see I'm on sheet 1. That's what I want to be. I'm not going to bother entering a description on it. I'm going to go ahead and hit set permission now. It's saying restrict who can edit this. I'm going to say only me. So I could go customize and I could add other people, but I'm just going to say only me, and I'm going to hit done, and it's saved. So now I'm going to go ahead and share this document with a different account of mine, and I'm going to go over and open that up just to show you what that would look like. So I believe this is the one here. and I've shared this with him. So I'll just make sure that was the one. Yep. So I'm going to open this up, and I need to go to the other sheet here, sheet 1. And then, so here's the information. So this is the part I locked down. Notice if I try to delete it, it's saying there was a problem. I can't edit it. So any of these marks I can't edit. But if I go over to Jack, I can change this around and edit those parts because I didn't protect those areas. So if you are going to share your sheets with somebody else, think about protecting certain areas of data that you don't want messed with, but want to maybe give them access to other part that can help you out when you're working together. So I hope you liked this Google Sheets tutorial tonight. If you have, please share this with a few other people and hit that like button. But I'd really like to know what type of tutorials in Google Sheets that you would like. So leave a comment down below. Let me know specific examples of videos that I could make, shorter ones than this, to help you and other people move forward with using Google Sheets. So remember, I do these weekly tech tips, and if you liked what you see tonight, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.